What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show, and we've got a great episode lined up for you today. Bitcoin is back over 100K after a brief fall yesterday. What does that mean about the future of Bitcoin? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. We got a lot of altcoins to talk about. Ethereum over 4,000 again after quite some time. Is it time for Ethereum to officially wake up and hit some new all-time highs? Can we still get that done before 2025? Cardano's whales are back to buying, and also a crazy accusation going out after XRP. Somebody is calling it potentially the mother of rug pulls. What's going on with XRP? What's going on in the crypto space? Also, what is the next niche that is absolutely going to go crazy here very, very soon? Stick around all the way to the end. Make sure to smash the like, hit subscribe. But first, we got to roll the intro. Today, I am joined not by T Shroom as he starts his cruise, but by two other fine gentlemen. Of course, most of you know Crux down here at my lower, I guess it's my lower right, your lower left. And also, we are joined by the Smainel. The OGs know exactly who that guy is. Exciting show today, gentlemen. Let's start off, though. Crux, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, Tim. Hey, that's a juicy thumbnail we got going. XRP, very interesting. This project's been crushing it lately, but there's been some FUD going around. So, stay tuned and hear what we got to say about XRP.
Yeah, when I saw that headline, I clicked on it because it got me, right? I had to see what this was. So we're gonna talk about that a little later. Is XRP, go ahead and put in chat, are you still extremely bullish on XRP, or do you have a feeling that it's about to fall down dramatically? I'm not going to tell you my opinion until we get towards that topic. But Smay, before we get going, it's been a while since we did like a 3-man show like this all the way through, but I'm really glad to have you back here on the show like this. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing good. Never mind. I'm not doing good, guys. I already messed up. Okay,
Listen,
this is my fault.
Pushing is hard.
Anyways, T-Shroom put me in charge of buttons, and I already messed up. But guess what, guys? I'm here, and I'm happy. I'm a little rusty getting back into the seat, because if you guys don't know, if you're not OGs, this used to be my job. This is what I did for the Coffee and Crypto days. So I'm feeling good, Tim. I'm feeling good. I won't do that again, I promise.
Well, don't make promises you can't keep there, Smay, but I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Just so you guys know, T-Shroom's not here, but I am about 1,000% certain he is doing better than he deserves. And with that said, let's go check out the bubbles here on my screen and see what's going on today. A world of green, a sea of green is on the charts. That's because everything is pumping here today. But the biggest gainer, are the memes coming back? Well, I'm not seeing a lot of its friends be amongst the biggest gainers, but MOG is up 54%. Quite the feat for one of the meme coins right there. You do have some other memes popping, like WIF is up 8.2, but of course this is nothing close to DYDX, up 24%. HBAR kind of hiding there, lower levels 14.3. BGB is up 26. Uni's up 18. Arrow up 15. Aave, I don't know why I said Aave. Who pronounces it Aave? Aave, 14%, right? And on all of this with Bitcoin, of course, climbing back over the $100,000 mark. We did that pretty explosively here just a couple of hours ago. Now, we're not as high as we were the other day on the 5th, right? So today's actually the 6th, so we're not as high as we were yesterday morning, I guess is the best way to put that one. But we do look like we're well on our way. We're getting to some technicals here in just a little bit. Did we drop with a nasty-looking wick all the way back down to 92,000? Yes. Yes, we did. But remember yesterday we put this box on the chart as the level to look to get in and buy. With the exception of a brief couple of minutes dropping down to 92,000, this box here around 97,000 ended up holding pretty well. How high can we expect going on from here? Let's dive into some stories first, and then we're going to come back and look at the Bitcoin charts, look at some other things. Does that sound good to you, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Let's do it.
All right. Well, first of all, little bit of fun here. Can you guys spot, is this real or is it AI? Go to my screen here, Smay.
No, it's
That's
me. You'll have to get used to it.
What is that sound in the background? Is that my sound? Oh, it's a video making sound. Okay, it's myself. You guys just can't hear it. All right, real or AI? Everyone, put your opinion in chat. Don't pay attention to the fin or the hands going directly into the fish very easily. All right. That has nothing to do with Bitcoin. I just had it on my screen. I wanted to show you guys. Let's get into what is happening here. Big story. U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF surpassed Satoshi's estimated 1.1 million Bitcoin holdings. Let's get some details here, and then we'll break it down. The combined 12 U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds have surpassed the 1.1 million Bitcoin estimated to be held by the cryptocurrency pseudo-anonymous creator Satoshi Nakamoto for the first time. Some other interesting notes just to have here. Satoshi as an individual or a group. We're not sure if Satoshi is one person or if it's several. I'm leaning towards several, but also let me know in chat what you guys think about that one. It's likely the largest Bitcoin holder as an individual or a group. Other known entities also have substantial holdings. MicroStrategy's 402,000 Bitcoin, worth over 40 billion, makes it the largest corporate holder, having adopted Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset in 2020, with plans to raise $42 billion in capital over the next few years for further Bitcoin acquisitions. We know Michael Saylor never gets tired of buying more Bitcoin. So that we got the individual, we have corporate, of course, the largest holder in general are the ETFs, but then, of course, the government, the United States, 208,000 Bitcoin worth 20 billion in seized funds places it as the largest nation state holder ahead of China and the United Kingdom, according to Bitcoin treasuries. Let's break this down really quick, Crux. How significant is this, in your opinion, that ETFs are now the largest holder of Bitcoin? I'll preface this by kind of laying a scenario here. This is very bullish. I mean, this means somebody who did not own any Bitcoin here about a year ago now owns a whole lot of it. But there's a concern out there that as the ETFs gobble up more and more Bitcoin, their control and ability to manipulate price in a negative way also begins to rise. With that being said, where do you sit on that fence? Do you look at this as a very bullish thing? Do you look at this as a negative thing? Or are you going to sit on the fence and say this really isn't neither negative or positive at the moment?
So first of all, I do know who Satoshi is. Now, if you smash the likes and join Fundamental Fridays after, I might let you know in our Discord server.
Okay.
So that being said, we got these ETFs that are accumulating this Bitcoin, 1.1 million Bitcoin. That's no easy feature, and that's 12 different entities that have gobbled all that Bitcoin up, right? Satoshi holds somewhere between 800 and 1.1 million. We don't personally know, but it's very interesting that, there's somebody out there that holds that much. And, there's a lot of FUD that goes around. What if that wallet wakes up? As these institutions gobble this Bitcoin up, it makes his impact less and less if that Genesis wallet does wake up. We will see. I'm kind of 50-50. Will it wake up one day? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, there's much less impact whenever, BlackRock or Grayscale or these other ETFs have so much control of, the Bitcoin holdings themselves.
Yeah, I think what people need to understand is even though technically these ETFs hold the Bitcoin, right? So if I buy an ETF from BlackRock, right, that's the biggest one out there. Technically speaking, all I own is the actual ETF. I don't own the physical Bitcoin. I'm not custodying the physical Bitcoin. Technically, Coinbase is custodying it through the ownership of BlackRock. That being said, well, technically this means that of these ETFs, they hold the majority of Bitcoin. It's not like they can just go out and decide to sell it, right? It's not like they can say, despite none of their users wanting to sell Bitcoin, they can just go out and massively dump it on the markets. So when we talk about manipulation, there's only so much control the ETF holders actually have. The only thing that actually could happen, let's talk about this as being a positive light. What could happen is if an ETF holder, let's say I bought an ETF, I'm holding my ETF, and then all of a sudden I decide to take profit and I sell it. Well, when I buy Bitcoin, BlackRock is forced to make sure they have Bitcoin in holdings to back my ETF. But when I sell it, they could choose then to buy that up and not sell the Bitcoin back, in which case, even though I sold my ETF, the price of Bitcoin was not affected whatsoever. So in reality, when I look at this and people are worried about manipulation because of BlackRock and Fidelity and 21, ARK Invest and all these other places. So I think I said that wrong. But anyway, them owning the majority of the Bitcoin, there still are guidelines and ropes that kind of helps them not manipulate it in a bad way. I'm not saying there won't be any type of manipulation in the future. I'm not saying we won't see some flash crashes and some weird things happening to the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that have ETFs. That's not my point. My point is, if anyone's thinking, oh man, BlackRock and Fidelity and others own the majority of Bitcoin at this point, and they're going to use that to manipulate the price, it's not really that simple. So I kind of see this as borderline a nothing burger / positive sign. This is a very good thing, I think, for the future of crypto. Last thing I'll say on this, we're going to move on. A lot of people also don't like that institutions are getting involved in Bitcoin. They're kind of seeing like, man, the whole point of Bitcoin was to stick it to the man, to get rid of them. But the reality is you need to look at Bitcoin, as solid money as it is, as almost being like a Trojan horse. All these entities like governments and businesses and corporations that have really hurt people for a long time now by manipulating money, with them adopting and acquiring Bitcoin in bulk, just like the Trojan horse went into, I guess it went into Greece, right? I'm terrible with my fake history.
Troy?
Well, did it go into Troy? Is that why it's called the Trojan horse? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's going into Troy.
It went into Troy. And then all of a sudden, the soldiers broke out and took it down from the inside, right? It's the same concept. The more I hear of corporations and governments adopting and bringing in Bitcoin, to me, I see it as a Trojan horse scenario where it's going to blow up their power from the inside. They'll have to respect the laws of economics, the laws of how value should really be transferred back and forth, and it'll be good for a lot of people. So that's my take right now. I'm not too worried about it, but let me know in the comments what you think. Let's keep going on because we have a couple more Bitcoin headlines here. Now, we don't have T-Shroom, right? We don't have T-Shroom here today. We're not going to play this video, but there was a Twitter post put out here back on my screen. I don't even know this guy's name. There he goes. Michael Regan from Bloomberg. He was in an interview here, and he said, he talked about how Bitcoin really could become a safe haven trade in South Korea given political instability and attempted martial law at mass protests. Bitcoin broke 100K during Asian trading hours. Crypto trading in South Korea is now bigger than equities. The case he makes here is if you look at some of the biggest moves and you look at some of the big headlines right now, South Korea and Asian trading hours have made a lot of moves here recently in the crypto world, and it makes sense. Again, with all of the instability, T-Shroom talked a lot about this week. The instability happening now in Asia. I'm not saying this is good for the people of Asia. In fact, if there is problems, I really pray that nothing bad does happen to that whole part of the planet. But the case being made by Bloomberg is because of the unrest, because of the questions, because of the chaos, you might see South Korea and other Asian entities flood into Bitcoin because their currency is going to become unstable. I mean, that's really the problem. When we think about political instability and economies struggling during it, the main reason why is because the native currency of that place begins to become unstable, just like the government. Well, in this case, if people are flooding, just like Michael Saylor talked about in his video earlier this week, if people are flooding away from their fiat currencies and running to Bitcoin as a safe haven, this again is very, very bullish for Bitcoin holders. And South Korea doesn't just like Bitcoin. They like a lot of other cryptos as well. So I think this is a net positive for the crypto space as a whole. I want to throw it to you on that one, Crux, before we go into the charts here. What are your take about what's happening around in South Asia? I guess it's not South Asia. South Korea is actually kind of there in mid-North Asia. But what's your take about this? Do you think this is a positive? Do you think this is going to be a net benefit, or do you see some further concern coming?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin as a whole, it is a safe haven asset. We most recently heard about this with Ukraine. Whenever a lot of people were leaving Ukraine and going to the surrounding countries, right? You're able to memorize these 12 words, sometimes 24 words, on your seed phrase, and you're able to leave your country. Who knows, your apartment that you're living in may have gotten blown up and you can't return. This is an issue that gold has. So if you had it stored in your backyard, buried away, you can't travel or leave, as you got to leave to another country. So this is a very interesting opportunity that Bitcoin as a store of wealth holds, that you may be the only person in the world that has those 12 words memorized, and no matter where you go, you can recover the access to those keys, and then you can recover your Bitcoin and go on continually living your life as normal.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. We talked about a lot of reasons that the news is bullish right now. I mean, we're just adding to the plate. Every single day we come on here and we tell you more and more reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin. Just want to further reiterate this to anybody who's out there. I know I saw someone in chat earlier. Someone woke up this morning and hurt this guy. I don't know what happened to him. I'm praying for you. Hope your life gets better. He thinks Bitcoin's falling to like 58K. I'm here to tell you, Bitcoin is so far from the top. If you're thinking, you're sitting here saying, man, I'm gonna do this perfectly. I'm gonna take profit on Bitcoin. 100K was the top. We're done. Everything we just went through and everything we've been talking about for the last couple of days is the proof in the fundamental aspects of Bitcoin's future that we are so very far from the top. But now it's time to go look at the charts and see what's going on there. Go ahead and go to my screen again here, Smay. As I said yesterday, we talked about the significance of this blue box right in here. This is kind of talking to some of my traders right now. If you're a trader, what's up? Drop a 1 in chat. We're going to talk a little trading talk and then talk some investing talk afterwards. This blue box was a heavy level with a lot of support. But remember what I said yesterday. I said what you want as a trader is to wait for the confirmation. You don't want to buy a falling knife. A falling knife is when the price action is just dropping dramatically and there's not really any sense of knowing for certain if we're going to bounce or not. Well, even though we knew there was a lot of support right in this range, you start to turn on some indicators. We found some support levels like order blocks and fair value gaps. I think this was the 4-hour smart trail range here as well, right? So a lot of support was in this range. But that did not mean that we told you guys to go ahead and buy. We said wait for confirmation. What is confirmation? Confirmation is when you actually see the indicators make their flip from being bearish into being bullish. And we got that earlier this morning, as we did see, or maybe even late last night. We saw the negativity. We saw the sell signals in the 1-hour chart. But then after this nasty wick, which again, big wick, small candle comparison, that in and of itself is a pretty good bottom sign, along with this high volume that came in. We also, though, got that buy signal on the Lux Algo Suite from the oscillators, the green reversal, the bullish momentum, and the positive money flow. Now, we're flowing back up to being overextended, but I still think that the other time frames are going to give us a longer trajectory to the upside before we reverse. But my overall point was this was the confirmation we were talking about. And guess where that confirmation happened? It happened in the range after a nasty fall. So if you had bought in this blue range before the fall, you would have gotten liquidated easily. In fact, lots of people got liquidated. When you start to look at the liquidations chart, we came down again and took out millions, hundreds of millions of long positions before we decided to do what? Jump back up and stabilize ourselves right on that $97,000 mark we told you was support. So for traders, hopefully you listened to us yesterday. Hopefully you did not buy the falling knife, but you waited for the confirmation, in which case you ended up buying here below 98,000 anyway, because that's when you got the confirmation. Now we're making some major moves to the upside. And even though the hourly chart is showing us some signs of reversal, I think we're going to start seeing, we're back at the smart trail right now. Our shorter term traders would probably be taking profits as we get up in that smart trail. As we zoom out towards the 4-hour chart, there's a lot more room to the upside, I believe, still on the table. We're just getting going. We just had a MACD bullish cross here just a couple candles ago. The RSI bounced on the 50, a very bullish sign. The Lux Algo oscillator might be, the 4-hour Lux Algo oscillator is printing a buy signal. What am I talking about? Green reversal, bullish momentum. I know it's small, it's very faint, but positive money flow in here as well, in which case we're talking about making a move probably back up here up to 104,000 at the very least. I expect this bullishness, though, to continue to trickle and trickle. It's going to trickle into the 8-hour chart, then it's going to trickle into the daily chart, and then before you know it, we're talking about getting up over 110 or higher. We're with the weekly chart. 110 is kind of still the target a lot of these time frames are looking at. But that was how we kind of said to trade this yesterday. So all of our traders, hopefully you guys benefited from that information. For our investors, we told you, hey, you don't need to wait. Just go ahead and buy in this camp. Again, were you temporarily in some form of a loss if you spot bought Bitcoin? Fun little phrase right there. If you spot bought Bitcoin in this $97,000 range, you were in loss. For again, we're talking about minutes. If I were to go to let's go to the 15-minute chart. How long were we down here? We were down for pretty much a grand total of 15 minutes. Probably maybe 20 or 30, but not very long. So you were in loss for less than an hour. You bought a very good spot. and now you're reaping the rewards right there on Bitcoin. All very, very positive things. We're continuing to track here on Bitcoin on longer time frames. This is the breakout move. This is the big part of the cycle going to the upside. But the last thing I want to say about Bitcoin before we continue is Bitcoin is now rallying again, right? It's going back to the upside. It did not get a severe loss. In fact, yesterday, let's see what was yesterday's loss. I actually haven't checked this. After topping out at 104, we dropped 11%. If you guys have been watching the channel, we had been talking about during alt season, Bitcoin historically has dropped more like 30%. We've seen it happen both in we saw it happen in 2020, or 2021, excuse me, and back in 2017. But I predicted it would be more like 15 to 20% this time. We have not seen it drop that low. I'm thinking at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm going to be wrong. I think 11%, 10%, we've had a 10% move and 11% now, might have been all that we needed for altcoin season. And you might be saying, Tim, doesn't that mean it's not altcoin season? No, that's not what that means whatsoever, because Bitcoin dominance, despite all of this chaos, is still falling to the downside. Did it take a small pause here around 55%? Yes, it took a small pause, but this is still a downward trajecting chart for Bitcoin dominance. And alt season, ultimately, while we see usually Bitcoin falling by like 30%, again, we predicted 15 to 20%, alt season has so much more to do with altcoins outpacing Bitcoin than it has to do with Bitcoin falling. So this case, this is one where Bitcoin had very minimal pullback whatsoever, and alts are rallying anyway. I'm not saying that means it's impossible for Bitcoin to have itself a 15, 20% pullback. I posted on Twitter yesterday, there still are a lot of liquidations down here towards 85,000. In fact, if I want to get really specific with it, we can zoom in here using the Investing Pros indicator. We got 350 million at 85 and another 175 million dollars at 84.3, right? So those are down there. That is there, and there is a possibility that we could fall that far. I don't think it's a likelihood. I don't think it's a high probability, but it is something that people need to be aware of. But right now, watching this transact as we are, if we close anywhere close to where we are right now, this will be the highest daily close ever on Bitcoin. These are all signs that Bitcoin is ready to make some bigger moves to the upside. And alt season, it's still here. It's still doing its thing. It just is packaged a little different than it has been back in history in the last 4 and 8 years. That being said, that's going to wrap up our Bitcoin spot here. By the way, shout out to Luxalgo, the sponsor of this video. If you guys love the technicals we do here every single day, we could not do them. We could not be successful traders and investors if it was not for using the Luxalgo indicator package. Check out the description down below. When you use our link, you get 20% off. That's a big bonus. You also, if you join into our Discord and give us your email you signed up with, you get access to our VIP trading group where we have several pro traders. Some of us do scalp trading. Some of us do day trading. Some of us swing trade. No matter what your experience is, whether beginning or you've been trading for years, if you just want to be a part of an amazing trading community, by getting Luxalgo and joining the VIP trading group, you get in there for free. Also, at the end of every month, you enter to win $500. Not a bad prize. You literally could pay for an entire year of Luxalgo if you win. So go sign up with Luxalgo right now. I recommend the ultimate package, but if you're not ready to spend that, premium is good as well. Let's move on and talk about the next one. In fact, actually, let's pause for a second. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Where are we at? 642 people watching. How many likes here? 160 likes. Less and less people here today. Maybe it's Friday. Maybe it's the title. We went with it. We went with a thing today. Tell us if you dislike the title. Like, just don't hit the dislike button. Do you not like the title? We tried something new. But if you guys don't like it, we'll go away from it with that live crypto trading as a default thing. Give us feedback on that one. Crux, what are you thinking right now about Bitcoin as a whole?
Yeah, 13% in a 24-hour period and recovering. We're looking at what Solana and BNB like combined is worth. So that's no easy feature for the bears to be able to dump Bitcoin like that. But the bulls came back and we recovered. We're pushing back towards all-time highs. I'm super bullish. I've never been as bullish as I am currently with Bitcoin, with the administration coming into play, this next year. And I think the Bitcoin 4-year cycles, we are right where we need to be, strap in, because 2025 should be our year.
Yeah. Cannot agree more. Let's go ahead and transition. Let's get into some Ethereum talk. Ethereum has surpassed $4,000, which is amazing. People are very excited, but there's another detail that people are kind of going crazy about. I'm just going to look at the headline, and then we're going to look at the charts here. But go to my screen. Ethereum completes the first 2024 Golden Cross. Now, before we get going into the charts and look at Ethereum, I want to make sure you guys understand. I am not the biggest supporter of the Golden Cross, Death Cross technical analysis features. Why? Because historically, when I look at both of them across multiple charts, they end up being about 50-50 actually being bullish or being bearish. I will say we're going to do some back testing here on Ethereum. The Golden Cross on Ethereum is actually pretty realistic at being positive. So I think this is a very good sign. I think it also lines up with just so many other technicals that Ethereum's been overextended for a long time. It's ready to pump. But I want to make sure we preface this. I am not the biggest believer of golden pockets and death crosses, or golden pockets, golden crosses. I love golden pockets. Golden crosses and death crosses. Let's first talk about what is a golden cross. Go ahead and go to my screen here, Smay. Golden crosses are when you take the simple moving average, right? You're going to look at two of them. You're going to look at, traditionally, we're talking about the daily chart here, by the way, as well. The golden cross is when the 50-day moving average, you guys see this yellow line right here that's moving around. When the 50-day moving average crosses above the purple line, the 200-day moving average, that is called a golden cross. A death cross is when the 50, the yellow line, crosses below the purple line, the 200, and we call that a death cross. Really quickly, let's just go take a look at a couple things in the past. The last death cross we got way back here on August 7th, August 8th, guess what that was? The bottom of the pullback, right? So this death cross, it's called death because it's supposed to be the end of this coin or this asset, ended up marking the bottom, right? Everyone looked at that and there was headlines so bearish about, oh, watch out, the Ethereum chart just flashed a death cross, and it ended up marking the bottom perfectly. You see why I'm not necessarily the biggest believer of these things. Let's scroll back and see the last time we had some sort of move. Here's a golden cross. We had a golden cross back in November of 2023. This actually ended up being a very good bullish signal, right? I told you guys, the back testing, you're going to see the golden crosses are actually pretty good for Ethereum. This one is very positive. That one ended up, if you had bought based on that, that great bullish news, you would have gotten away with it and been very successful. Going back over to a death cross happening back here August 31st, while Ethereum would retrace a little bit, Ethereum would only go down from the moment we had this cross. It would only drop another 6% before finding its bottom and going to the upside. I don't know about you. I would call that a failure, right? So we have two death crosses that are absolute failures. We have one positive golden cross. We come back over here. We have another golden cross that happens back in February of 23. And you can kind of call this a net win. We would go on to fall after this death cross happened. We would go on to fall about 21% before we found our bottom. But as a whole, it did kind of mark a time where we would move into some bullish, bullish movement. So I'm going to kind of give that one a pass, not necessarily a win, but a pass as being, all right, that golden cross wasn't the worst ever. Then let's keep going back here. Death cross. Oh, would you look at that? Death cross marked the bottom of a bear. I mean, this was in a bear market. The death cross crossed the bottom. So I guess what I'll almost say here on Ethereum, I think both death crosses and golden crosses are net benefits, net positive. I think I would almost buy both of them because it looks like almost every single one that happens, things go up. I mean, back here, you see both a cross and a touch, and everything goes bullish from there. So as a whole, that's just where we're looking at for a back test here on Ethereum. I'm not bullish right now on Ethereum because of this golden cross. I'm bullish for several other reasons, but I did want you guys to know there is a golden cross happening. The 50 is crossing about the 200, and I believe that Ethereum has a long way to go to the upside. Something we've been tracking, I've been looking for a movement up to 4,400. Why? Because Ethereum, had gotten itself into what we call a bull pennant, a big explosive move over a couple of days, followed by a consolidation in a symmetrical triangle called a pennant. If you move that same flagpole over, the prediction for where we should break out is all the way up here at 4,400. So we still have a little further to go just to reach my main level of resistance. We also will see as we start to pull up some indicators here. If we go, I think we got to go to a larger time frame for this one. The weekly chart under a buy signal now for multiple weeks has its target up here at 4,500 before it gets overextended. It doesn't mean we have to stop there. It just means that was the expectation for a bullish move, and we get overextended at that time. I will say we have a long way to go still on our weekly oscillators before we're overextended. And traditionally in a bull market, we not only get overextended, we live in overextended. Go back here to the history of Ethereum. Let's turn this noise off here. We got overextended in Ethereum back in August of 2020, right? But then lived there all the way until November of 2021. Take a look at what the chart looks like on Ethereum. August to November. I mean, yeah, there's some pullbacks in here. The most significant one right here in May, where we did fall back, 60%. But as a whole, if you had bought when we started to get into that overextended mode for the first time and just held, you would have made some pretty profits here on Ethereum. In fact, it would profits to the tune of 1,200%. Does Ethereum have a 1,200% rally left in it? I would seriously doubt Ethereum's going to rally 1,200%. That would be, let's go see what that would even be from here. 1,200% from where we currently, we'll even go back here. 1,200% would put the price action, not happening, guys. 32,000 per coin. I love Ethereum. I'm bullish on Ethereum. 32,000 is not happening at the end of this, unless we have a crazy extended bull market, unless we see the crypto market cap go, I don't even know, probably 40, 50 trillion dollars. We're talking about Ethereum probably having a market cap itself of 3.5 to 4 trillion dollars. I don't think 32,000 is happening for Ethereum, but I do think we can get up in this range of about 18K is where we're still watching here on Ethereum. And at the moment, again, a lot of signs on these larger timeframes are kind of coming in with Luxalgo and several other indicators saying, hey, we got some more bullishness to go. We're just getting started. We canceled out bearish divergence. We're living this overextended time period, but we have a lot of room still to go to the upside. So watch out for Ethereum. Again, next major level to keep an eye on for resistance, I would say around 4,500 would be the mark to keep your eye on if you want to take some profit. Damian Peach said, could you take a look at Doge as its 11th birthday today? Thanks for all the great analysis you guys produce. Happy Christmas to all. I didn't know that. I didn't know Doge was celebrating its 11th birthday today. Crux, did you know that?
I did not, actually.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, that's been around for a while.
Let's take a look at Doge real quickly. I will say, look at the chart. I'm going to be very fast here because we're going to talk about Cardano. We got to talk about XRP. We got to talk about the next niche that's going to explode, and it's already 3:30. All right, time gets away from us. There's some consolidation happening right now on Doge, and I don't want to necessarily spark any fear and concern yet, but I will say, if you look at the trend of this consolidation, it's a rising channel that's kind of happening right here, right? There's a 1 wick outlier right there, but you really have yourself a nice clean channel. It's either a channel or a rising wedge. Both of them, from a technical analysis standpoint, are not great, right? So there's a little bit of wrestling to do with Dogecoin when you're looking to invest in it. On one hand, we're in a bull market, right? We're in a bull market. We're probably, still within a very tight time frame where Doge is all throughout the news because of the Department of Government Efficiency, and that really does help Doge out a lot. It's also the most popular meme coin. It's the highest meme coin, and as more and more people come back into it, they're going to look to want to buy in. But this formation, I don't like it. I would prefer, after this explosive move, if we're going to call this a bull flag or a bull pennant, I would like to see this be a horizontal channel or a descending channel or a symmetrical triangle. But when I see a pattern like this, rising wedges and rising channels in and of themselves are usually semi-bearish. They usually have the opening of the formation breakout to the downside, in which case we would probably see Doge come back somewhere in the world of 30 cents before it be ready to move back to the upside. So I'm not saying that's for certain. If we get a breakout with high volume above this resistance, then we're off to the races, and Dogecoin is doing really well. But if I'm an investor, if I'm a trader, I'm not ready to short until I see a breakout below this support line, and I'm not ready to long before I see a breakout above this resistance line. This is a sit and wait for Doge, but happy birthday to Doge. Happy 11th birthday. That is a feat to stick around for 11 years. That's a good sign that Dogecoin is not about to go away into the night and be finished as a project. It's here to stay. But let's keep transitioning here. Let's keep going and move into the next story. Let's talk a little Cardano here, everybody. Whales are deploying over $110 million to accumulate Cardano. Is a fresh pump coming? Remember a couple of days ago, we talked about whales taking profit on Cardano. Part of the reason why Cardano, made it up to new market highs and then kind of fell back down closer towards $1. Well, now it looks like we are seeing the buyers come back in. Market watcher Ali Martinez, you can go back to my screen here, Smay, drew attention to his development in a tweet citing data from the intelligence platform Sentiment. According to the disclosure, whales have accumulated more than 100 million ADA in the last few days. If you're wondering, what do we mean by whales? Maybe you're newer to the world of investing. What is a Cardano whale? Notably, these high net worth individuals who typically hold between 100 million to 1 billion Cardano tokens, they deployed an additional $110 million to buy ADA when the token was just above $1. Think about this for a second. Cardano is sitting at just above $1 currently. What's the actual price here on Cardano? Because I want to make sure I'm up to date at the time of recording this. $1.22. Right? $1.22. So to be considered one of these whales, you have 100 million Cardanos. So $120 million worth of investment in Cardano. We're not talking about little people. We're not talking about, Joe that you see every day down in Walmart. Almost spilled water all over this desk. That could have been tragic. We're not talking about the little guy. We are talking about massively wealthy individuals. I'd be very surprised if any of them are putting their entire net worth into it. So more than likely billionaires, right? At least close to billionaires who are investing in Cardano. They are buying again, according to Sentiment. As of Thursday, when the trend was observed, their cumulative holdings expanded to 3.26 billion ADA tokens. That's one of the cool things about crypto is we can see where the big wallets are moving their money. Are they selling? Are they buying? Ultimately, what I see on Cardano is the whales are buying. And if the whales are buying, Tim wants to buy here as well. Let's take a look at what's happening with Cardano. We told you a couple weeks ago, the levels to keep an eye on for resistance would be here at 125. Support would be here on $1. We dropped back down a little bit below there, but we talked about this range. This range is significant because of the history of Cardano. Both $1 and $1.25 have been used historically as major levels of support and resistance. So we told you to keep an eye on those levels. We've rejected more recently, but with whales buying up the dip, buying up back here at 112 pretty much, if we can make a breakthrough and start to close some candles above 125, it will not be long. Let's go to the weekly chart for this one. It will not be long before we see, there's going to be some resistance around 164, but I think we make a run all the way back up to this major mark of 233. Why is 233 so important? Well, this, again, was major resistance back in May, was major resistance here in November, both in 2021. There's not a whole lot that separates us from making that move. In fact, if I were to put up our ultimates, which I got to, let's do this. Let me show you guys with the ultimates package from the private bros indicator. Let's remove that. Let's pull that one back up. Where is it? Right there. There we go. I don't think it registered. Let's do it again. Come on now. Why is it not doing this? Don't do this to me, indicator. There we go. It's working now. Let's go back all the way. Let's just include, a lot of this price action from 2021 bull market and see what we have going on here. So you're going to see a lot of volume, right? Where we're currently rejecting right here, lot of volume, but there's no major peak. The next time we really see anything significant is going to be in this range of around 210. But again, I'm a big fan of finding former resistance levels where people are probably having sell signals already. I think a move, if we can break 125, I'm not saying it happens in 1 day or 2 days, but look for another big run on Cardano to go all the way to 235 before deciding to take a break again. A level I will say to keep an eye on, one of the cool things about the bros indicator when it comes to fixed range volume, I'm a big believer of looking at volume gaps. If you look at these faded blue lines, they're kind of dark on here. I don't know how well you guys can see them, but these faded blue lines are amazing levels of support and resistance, right? You're not going to find these on any other indicator with fixed range volume, but these symbolize weak levels of volume, but where there's a gap in volume. And everyone loves to pay attention to point of controls and value area high and value area low, and they love to pay attention to these shelves of volume, but sometimes the greatest support and resistance is where you have these major gaps. We had a major gap here at 78 cents. Guess where we peaked back in March of 2024. We have major gaps all over the place. Ultimately, the next one up above us is around 190. So 190, 233, that range is going to be very interesting if we start to break above 125 with confidence. Look out for Cardano to make big runs, and all that sparked, of course, because the whales are buying. Now, let's go ahead and move on from here. Go ahead and go away from my screen for a second. I'm about to introduce a kind of a juicy topic that's going to make some of you happy. It's going to make some of you angry. Bear with us through it all. But there's been a accusation made here recently about XRP. XRP has been one of the hottest altcoins over the last month. It has made massive gains, over 400% rallies since we found out that Donald Trump would be president. But there are people out there very significantly trying to FUD XRP, trying to say that XRP is going to be the mother of pump and dumps, the mother of rug pulls. Let's go to this article right here, Smay. Bitcoin Maximalist says this XRP rally will be the mother of rug pulls. Here is why. I highlighted some of his details. I'm going to read them and I'm going to respond to them. But let me know in the comments right now, even before we get there, what do you think about XRP? I'm curious about your guys' opinion. A prominent Bitcoin advocate known as Bitman. Okay. It's a good start right there. His name is Bitman. Shared his doubts by highlighting XRP's overall price history. According to Bitman, the cryptocurrency has achieved a remarkable 45,000% gain since its inception. You really could round that up to 46,000 because it's 45.9, but 46,000% gain since its inception, with its recent performance suggested an unnatural trajectory. He warned that XRP's ongoing rally would end disastrously. I don't know what in there he's really kind of going with, but let's keep reading. Similarly, Rajat Soni, a chartered financial analyst and Bitcoin maximalist. So these are key things here, by the way, guys. Bitcoin maximalists are making comments here. They voiced skepticism over XRP's price movements. In a post on X, Sony questioned how XRP could rise by 435% since November 2nd, given that it had only increased by 11% over the preceding 5 years. He described this pattern as irregular, and suggested it might indicate a pump and dump scheme. I think that's about it, what I have here. Ultimately, I want to break this down with you, Crux. You can go off my screen now, Smay. We got two Bitcoin maximalists saying pretty much XRP is the reason why we're bearish on XRP is because it's pumped too much. What do you do with that type of information there, Crux?
Yeah, so XRP has been around for its third cycle now. Last cycle, it was heavily manipulated, so it did not get a higher high. That's unfortunate. However, we've already broken that 2021 cycle high. And then we also formed a new all-time high as of recently with XRP. Yeah. So this is a token that's showing momentum. It was stifled. The innovation was stifled, rather, as they had to pay the SEC over $100 million whenever they could have been putting that into their ecosystem. So XRP, very different use cases than most of the cryptos that we've seen pumping. You know, a lot of them been just pushing meme coins out there. Just, decentralized apps are just everywhere at this point. And, the XRP ledger is not really designed for that. It's more designed for like a peer-to-peer network that the banks are, not so much a peer-to-peer network, but a bank-to-bank network with global payments such as Swift, and working with them. So I think XRP is here to stay. I'm very bullish on XRP, and this community, I feel like we're all pretty bullish on XRP.
What's crazy about the takes that these guys gave is there's just not a lot of logic to them. Some of you might even be asking, why are we even covering this story? Because this is some of the top headlines right now across crypto news. And newer investors and people who are maybe haven't had as much time to research it might fall for what's happening in these articles and say, oh, they're making good points. That's just a lot of rallying that's happened with XRP. But I wanted to dispel this and really go into details as to why this should not be a concern to anybody. Their ultimate argument from Bitcoin maximalists, again, if you don't know what Bitcoin maximalist means, it means somebody who only wants Bitcoin to succeed. Somebody who thinks all of cryptocurrency is a scam. They don't advise investing in anything except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the only crypto. And we see this happen a lot where Bitcoin maximalists start to see success in another altcoin and they call farce and they say, oh, it's a scam or it's going to rug pull. No, Bitcoin maximalists, it's called altcoin season. We have been talking about this for a long, long time. We have been very big on Bitcoin. We are still big on Bitcoin. We projected that Bitcoin's dominance before the end of the bull market would get over 60%. All these things have happened, but the times have changed. XRP is here to stay. Altcoins are here to stay. Go look at our charts right now. One of the things they're kind of talking about is they're really comparing how explosive this move is right here, right? And they're saying, well, look at the last cycle. It really wasn't that explosive. It's getting close to rug pulling. It's getting close to being over. We're almost done with this. This is a very bad take from Bitcoin maximalists. And if you think that this is a good take, I want to show you why it's a really, really terrible take. This movement in 2021, if you don't know the history of XRP, you'll know that, first of all, we had a massive crash in 2020 across every sector. Why? Because of COVID. But then XRP would go on to start a pretty good rally. And XRP would rally from COVID lows all the way up into November of 2020, almost 600% with no problems whatsoever, right? What happens in early December of 2020, though? This is when Gary Gensler and the SEC decide to slap Ripple and XRP with a lawsuit claiming that they're selling registered securities, and the price plummets. And even though price would go and climb in April and May of 2021 back up to $2, not getting to new all-time highs, not surpassing the highs of 2018, but going up highly, it went up despite the fact that there was massive suppression. And that suppression has stayed intact really until here in July of 2023, where we heard finally a judge ruled in favor, mostly in favor of Ripple, but there were still a lot of details to be worked out. We continue to trade sideways and suppressed all the way into a peak of support and resistance. We told you XRP at some point is going to pop off, and it's going to be the leading coin for at least a period of time. That has happened. Donald Trump was elected president. Suppression was released. Gary Gensler is out as SEC as a start that way in January 20th. All the people that were suppressing XRP's price are gone, and you're surprised that it finally let off? Well, the reason why you might be surprised is if you only look at this part of the chart. If this is all you look at for XRP, you might say, yeah, that looks overextended. Yeah, XRP's probably done at this point, or at least close to being done. But that's not what I would do. I wouldn't count 2021 at all because, again, it was an entire bull market of XRP suppression. Let's look at what XRP does when it's not suppressed and it's just allowed to use its own vices. This is what you need to be looking at. Let's go back all the way to early 2017, where we, again, were in a symmetrical triangle pattern, a long-term one from 2014 all the way into 2017. We went nuts. Blowing up here. What was the explosion here from breaking out? We rallied 800, we did rally 900%. Had a small glitch, small pullback, continued another stretch, got ourselves into a little range at the end of 2017, and then we go on in December to explode again. I talked about this the other day. If you were comparing these two time frames, right? Now look at them. Let's go to the monthly chart. This might make it easier to look at. If this is what you want to do, the reality for XRP that you need to be prepared for, again, I'm not predicting a $40, $50, $800 XRP. I am saying, if you guys watch my updated XRP price prediction, there's a very realistic chance we're getting somewhere between $9 and $14 or $16. I can't remember which I said. We are equivalently, if we do repeat 2017, right about here. Let's go back to the weekly chart. Are we about to see some sort of an XRP pullback? Possibly. I need to raise this a little bit right there. Are we about to see some form of a pullback? Maybe. We have rallied very high, but we're not going to end the bullishness. This is not going to be a rug pull. We're going to pull back. We're going to make sure that we're ready to go again. The whales are going to buy again. As Crux just mentioned, XRP has extremely strong fundamentals, and XRP is going to continue its trend to the upside. Like I said, my expectation somewhere between $9 and $16. There you go. I have my price predictions here. I think we could hit 520 by March or April. I think by September, October, again, $9. And if we extend the cycle like I think we could, I realistically could see XRP easily getting up here to $16. And that is a fair valuation based off the math of what it's done in the past and what we can expect it to do in the future. Also, if you don't want to just trust my word for it, there's an article put out today, 8 reasons not to sell your XRP. I think they're phenomenal. Let's just read through them. RLUSD launch. That's the Ripple Liquidity United States Dollar. That's a stable coin. That's about to launch. As I mentioned, the SEC lawsuit has a conclusion. Not only that, but, let's go down here. So SEC lawsuit, it is done. Everything that suppressed us in 2021 and 2022 and 2023, it's gone. XRP exchange traded funds. There's discussions right now. This one I'm mixed on. I don't know if this would be extremely bullish or not, but people are going to perceive it as bullish, so it goes in the camp. We could see an XRP ETF join the ranks of Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're pretty sure a Solana one is coming soon. That would be bullish, at least short term. Bitcoin dominance, as we've mentioned over and over again, is in decline. Meaning what? Meaning it's altcoin season and time for alts to outpace Bitcoin. Sorry, Bitcoin maxis. You guys hate hearing that, but that's what happens. Leadership changes the SEC. Gary Gensler is gone. The people who hated and suppressed XRP, gone. Trump's election victory. This is good for all of crypto. Long-term accumulation. The whales are coming back after years of not knowing what to expect from XRP. Now there's actually some clarity. Speaking of that, you go into regulatory clarity. We actually know what you're allowed to do and not do. We technically don't have that for other altcoins. That's 8 reasons that if you're considering selling your XRP right now, just because it's had itself a 430% pump in the last month, those are 8 reasons you really shouldn't be doing that. Take that one and do with it what you will. You know, we're not your financial advisors. We're here to help guide you and give you information to impact your decisions, give you information about the news, give you information on the charts. You ultimately get to decide where you want to put your hard-earned money. Tim Warren, me and my house, we own a bag of XRP. That's all I'm going to say. That's all. Crux, does Crux's house own XRP?
I do not currently own any XRP, no.
Okay,
however, I do identify with the XRP army, and I'm super bullish on XRP. So, I have many other, Caspa, Solana.
Yeah.
XRP, I'm bullish.
There's a lot of coins that I'm bullish on that I don't own, just because I can't own 100 altcoins, right? You can't own everything.
Over 50 tokens.
Yeah, I at one point I think was up to 45. I've recently scaled back. I think I'm just barely below 20 at the moment. But I get that all the time. Kanko's 89 cents. It's too centralized, Tim. You know, we're gonna transition here in a second. Let me talk about centralization. If you're newer to crypto, in 2021, centralization and decentralization was a huge topic. A lot of people were up in arms anytime a coin came out as being too centralized. Fast forward to now, I don't know if that's a big deal, Kankles, as far as money is concerned. Should you not go build on it? Personally, maybe. Maybe you want to keep building on decentralized protocols like Bitcoin and Cardano and Caspa. Then there's a couple others out there. But just because something is centralized doesn't mean it can't make money, right? Microsoft is centralized. Amazon is centralized. Apple is centralized, right? These are all very wealthy companies. There used to be this movement of you have to be decentralized, otherwise we hate you. I do think being decentralized is an advantage in the long run. But in the short term, I think centralization, allowing you to make quick movements very fast and not having to ask the majority of everybody, it actually allows things to be faster and better. I mean, let's take a look at another coin that's had an amazing bull market so far, Solana. Solana might be more decentralized than maybe your local bank, but it is not decentralized compared to the rest of the cryptocurrency space. I'm not holding that against it. I like making money. I invest in several coins that I consider centralized. I like the decentralized coins. One of the pluses of the Caspas and Cardanos of the world is that they're decentralized. But let's not pretend that centralized coins can't make a lot of money. So is XRP centralized? To an extent, yes, it is. I don't hold that against the price movement whatsoever. In fact, in the short term, I think it actually might be a benefit what allows XRP to go crazy in this bull market. So, Crux, did you want to add to that note whatsoever, or are you ready to get into our niche, the next niche that's going to explode?
No, I think you summed it up correctly. You know, with centralization, peer-to-peer is really your main reason for decentralization. So whenever you look at Bitcoin, the white paper, Satoshi's vision, that all came to be because of, getting the banks out of your business, keeping the third party away. So decentralization does need to be in crypto, but it does not need to be in every project. And I agree with Tim, Solana, Sui, these type of projects being backed by BlackRock or even Franklin Templeton or these big names is much different than, something like Caspa or even Bitcoin. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we're in transition here. A lot of great topics here today. We're going to run long again. We've run long like 3 days in a row. We need to have a better planning meeting and shorten up our stuff. But if you guys are happy about an extended show, smash the like button right now. We're about to get into a topic. You guys saw it on the title. You saw it on the thumbnail. there is a crypto niche that we are watching right now that has amazing potential. In fact, while we can't promise it gets just this high, it has the potential somewhere between a 20 and 30x still on the table. Cannot guarantee it, but it's something you need to be aware of. It could be the next coin to explode, and there could be some major gainers in this niche. For more on that, Crux is going to go super deep here. Before we get going, in case we have a bunch of new listeners here, Crux, can you explain when we talk about crypto niches, what is a crypto niche? Why do we look at them like, why does a niche come and go? Let's get a little bit of groundwork laid, and then let's get into the details of what this niche is and what people should be watching for.
Great question, Tim. So a niche or a niche is also really it's like what it breaks down into. So you have like crypto, right, as a whole. Then you have layer ones like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, etc. And then you have niches like AI, or you have a niche like gaming, or a niche like oracles such as Chainlink. So each of these niches, they come together to form what we know as cryptocurrencies, and each of them kind of need each other. But what I preach is you should have a little bit of exposure to each of the niches. Obviously, layer ones should be more of your portfolio, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum. But then you have your more like what we call degens, which is your more risky takes, such as even gaming or such as AI, where you shouldn't have too much of your portfolio allocated to it because the risk to reward benefit is not worth it. So I hope that answers the question on what a niche is.
Yeah. And now let's talk about what's happening here. So what niches have kind of hit so far this bull market? And then we'll transition that into what we think might be next.
So if I'm going to answer this truthfully, I'm going to say meme coins have been the number one performing niche this cycle. When you look at Doge performance, SHIB, if you look at Bonk, WIF, and all these other players, they have outperformed everything this cycle. Now, that being said, at the beginning of a cycle, you should not have that much of your portfolio in these things because we don't know what's gonna play out, right? Bitcoin typically leads the movement of what we know as bull markets, but so I would say meme coins would be first, but then also what is sprouting those meme coins? They're going to be the layer ones. So you have Solana and Sui, and then a couple other plays that have been creating these decentralized apps that are locking up TVL as well. So I would say layer ones would be second behind meme coins. And then third, I would say maybe real world assets. So you have a couple plays like Ondo, AVAX, and Mantra that have done extremely well this cycle. And I would throw that third behind layer ones and behind memes as far as performance.
Very, very cool. Well, let's get into it now. People have been waiting. I see people guessing in chat. A lot of people throwing out real world assets. I think that's a good take right there. People ask, is it more layer ones? Is it ETH layer twos? Is it gaming? Crux, what are you watching right now? Our fundamental expert, our portfolio expert, what are you watching right now and expecting the next big move to be?
All right. Well, Smay, if you can share my screen, it's actually gaming. And that's because if you look at the last bull cycle, we had the biggest opportunity came from Sand, Axie Infinity, and a couple of these other plays such as Decentraland. Now, this is in order, top 10 performers of last bull market. If you would have had 5% of your portfolio at the beginning of the bull market in gaming, most likely it would have ended somewhere between 30 to even 50% because it outperformed every other sector. So what I like to say at this point, I think anywhere between 5 to 8% of your portfolio should be allocated to gaming. And even though we had a very rough year in gaming, we're starting to see signs of life. About a week ago, we saw two plays in the top 100, Sandbox and Mana, which were metaverse plays that did extremely well last bull market because Facebook rebranded to Meta. And a lot of times that kind of news pops over to crypto. So that being said, we have a couple opportunities that exist. One of them that was on the list was known as Axie Infinity. And this is me explaining what the real world use case can be for gaming as well. So last bull market, Axie Infinity, which was the biggest game at the time, was actually, as this article states, the undeserved Filipino community has been finding ways to make ends meet due to the economic impact of the pandemic. So more Filipinos have flocked the marketplace hoping to earn a living. As a result, Axie Infinity saw a sudden spike in value with more than 250,000 daily active players towards the end of June. That being said, we're looking at comparison to some of the largest games out there can't even pull 250,000. So crypto gaming has shown that it's able to compete. It's able to actually work as an economy, because more people were making more money playing a video game in the Philippines last bull market than they would have if they worked a 9-to-5 job. And we've seen this all throughout, even like, you've heard of World of Warcraft, you've heard of RuneScape, and these type of games where you have large numbers of people. You have large populations like Venezuelans that play video games because they can make a lot more money playing video games than they can in their economy. So one opportunity that exists that I've been very bullish on recently is called Superverse. If we look at the chart, it's been actually very bullish this bull market. It hasn't reached its all-time high yet back in the last bull market. However, we're starting to see that it formed a new cycle high, and it's going up and right. And this is what most of the gaming tokens are looking like now. So you're still far away from your all-time high. We're starting to see signs of momentum, and this, as an analyst, is a good opportunity for me to start DCAing or buying into. Now, going into what Superverse is, quickly pitching this. So this right here is more like a hub. So we've heard of Gala Gaming, or some of you may have heard of Gala Gaming. It's not a specific game like what Call of Duty is. It's a hub of games. It's multiple games. So this is what Superverse is looking to do. So it's connect the biggest Web3 communities to the best crypto games, right? So they're integrating, which if I come up here on their website to integrations, I can see that they've integrated themselves into some of the biggest names in crypto. So WAGMI, Moontropica, Guild of Guardians, Nyan Heroes, etc. And we go all the way down to Shrapnel, Wilder World, Metalcore. The good thing about a play like Superverse is I don't have to pinpoint what the game's going to be. This is going after all the games, and they're integrating into them. So one play that I like that they're integrated into is Shrapnel. So this is an actual game itself, very similar to Call of Duty. So you have your first-person shooter. So think about being able to invest into Call of Duty, at an early age. We're talking about maybe 2007 or so, whenever it was just, launching. But with blockchains, the difference between traditional gaming and what blockchain provides is you have these NFTs, right? NFTs allow you to trade your in-game items for real world value. So if I earned a certain, weapon in Call of Duty, I can now go and then sell that on an open marketplace and make money from it. So there's a lot of red tape on the regulatory side of gaming. So for example, like World of Warcraft, you could not sell your in-game currency for real life money because it's illegal to do so. However, blockchain gaming, we found a way to get around that with NFTs, and there's no regulation saying we cannot do it. So opportunities definitely exist. I like Super. I like
so
Shrapnel.
Like Crux, pause right there. That what you're talking about is this will allow even more people. I mean, professional gaming is already a thing. There are people making livings, millions of dollars playing video games, but this would allow more and more of that, more amateurs to actually end up, for lack of a better word, staying in their mom's basement and making money, maybe then buying their own house if they, win good enough. But literally the everyday person using this could actually start making a living playing video games without becoming a professional, going to tournaments and beating the best in the world.
100%, Tim. And it's all relative because, here in America, it's going to be, we're playing the same game that they are in the Philippines, right? So if you were to tell me I can play a video game and make, let's just say $800 an hour, to me, that's a lot of money. I'm in America, $800 an hour is a lot of money. Now, if the game's only giving us, let's say $10 an hour, most likely we're not going to play it. But in the Philippines, that $10 an hour to us is like me getting $800 an hour because it's relevant to them. So we're starting to see even countries or people within countries starting to flock over to gaming because, again, you're making more from gaming than you can from working a 9-to-5. So the opportunities present themselves. But whenever I look at so these are like the top gaming GameFi by the niche is you have like Immutable X, Gala, Sandbox, Beam, etc. I like all these. I like Beam a lot. So layer one, built for gaming. But if I go by the 7-day, I can see gaming as a whole, we're starting to see 2Xs, 3Xs in gaming. as of a week ago. And then also when I go back to that the Superverse, some of these plays like Wilder World, like Wogme Games or Moon Tropica, which are all doing extremely well, but I could have had exposure if I just invested into Superverse. So that's why I've been pushing that token. And then just the last part of this pitch, so I don't think we're ready for the metaverse as a whole to like actually be integrated into it. However, I do think that we can start using games to start kind of allowing that merge to happen, right? So there's a new token, fairly new, as of December 2023. It's called Virtuals. A lot of content creators have been talking about this token, but the reason I'm very bullish on this token is this is kind of how I see us merging into the metaverse. We have these applications that we know, such as TikTok, such as Roblox, such as even Sandbox, which is another Web3 game. And you have these AI agents that are able to go into these platforms and remember, what activities happened on each of these platforms. So it's kind of like playing Call of Duty and you have your character and then you play World of Warcraft and the characters are the same, right? They're also known as AI agents. And it's a very interesting take to where it also crosses over into, integrations such as TikTok, which right now there's a chat bot right now. I think it's called Luma or something like that, that is integrated into TikTok. So this play has been taken off. It's called Virtuals Protocol, and this would be the third one that I talk about. Superverse, Shrapnel, and Virtuals. Those are the three ones I'm very bullish on, and I hope you guys look more into these.
Yeah. Listen, this is a lot of everything you just said there. I was listening very intently along with everybody else, learning a lot. This is stuff that goes out of my area of expertise. But again, the logic of it, that's why I asked clarifying questions. I think I like the logic of where it's going. First of all, these games are bringing more attention. Which was one of the ones you talked about. I heard a couple months ago there was a game for the longest time. Smay, you can even chime in on this because you said this years ago. Crypto games back in 2021 were just so bad, right? They were just so terrible. The Web 2, any Web 2 gamer laughed at anything Web 3 tried to create. But there was a game that went viral that was Web 3, but a bunch of famous Web 2 gamers were playing, not even probably realizing they were playing a Web 3 game, not even realizing they were engaging with crypto, but they loved it. Do you remember what that game was?
Not at all.
Not you? Okay.
No, because I've never heard of this.
Most likely it was probably, I would say the most relevant would probably be Axie Infinity. Well, no, because you're playing a web.
It was a game that was very similar. It was a first person shooter game. If you don't know the name of it, that's fine. My overall point of bringing that up is, and I wanted to bring Smay up, was Smay. You remember that you were one of the ones on Coffee and Crypto who said like there's just Web 3 is just nowhere close to actually competing in the Web 2 space for being entertaining gaming. And when I'm looking at here, Crux, I think that what you're presenting here. I think that 2025 could be a special year for gaming as the development's gotten better, the graphics gotten better. I think that what you also are seeing is people are stopping. They're not fighting the current technology. They're including Web 2 technology into a Web 3 style. And that could be a lot of money. I mean, I don't even know off the top of my head what the gaming sector is worth, but I got to imagine it's in the trillions for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you include Call of Duty, you even got to think about Pokemon. A lot of us grew up on this stuff and will most likely play it going on. Even as adults, I still play video games. So I can still see how relevant it is. And I think this 2025 is going to be very bullish for gaming.
I mean, if I quick, I do have something to say on that. Like, even just like looking, Crux, at the games that you were showing, I've at this point not heard of any of those games in terms of like the gaming circles that I'm in. But what I think is interesting, just by what I was looking at and like what you were pitching, like in my head, I think where the gaming in this Web3 stuff is going to really take off, it seems like it's going to be overseas. Kind of like even what you were showing with like in the Philippines. Like that seems like a model of gaming that is like that can capture that audience. I think the U.S. audience is a little different in how we approach games. And so I think eventually, right, like once the death hold that like Epic Games and all these like gaming companies have on the United States player base, once that kind of like you can find integrations with Web3 into those kind of like realms, then I think you can start to capture the U.S. audience, especially because like there's a lot more of an emphasis Even like if you look at like Game Awards has been on single player games in the US. So like I think if you're looking at like, South Korea or like China and these places, I think you're definitely going to see a lot more of that, because that even like what you were showing reminds me a lot of the anime centric kind of games that are very popular over there. So I think that could really do well. That's just But I think it'll take a minute before I think it captures the U.S. audience in the same way.
Well, and I'll wrap up this topic kind of like this. You're going to have some people that play these games, right? Some of you are listening to this and saying, oh, I mean, I've tried some of these. Maybe I like them. Maybe I don't like them. Ultimately, if you're kind of like me, I don't plan on playing any of these games. I don't have time as an owner of a business who wants to expand what I do with my trading group. I'm more of a trader. I just want to look at good investments, good coins that have, relatively overextended or underextended market caps that have the ability to grow very, very well. What can I invest in? And I think for a lot of you guys hearing about this, you might never play these games, but paying attention to some of these coins, as Crux showed, even though it was disappointing in 2021, we also saw gaming tokens be the largest moving sector back in 2021. And what we're looking at is as the technology is progressing, we could once again see gaming be a top mover in 2025. So for me, I don't need to play it to make some money off of it. I might have to look at some of these plays. Not that I'm going to put a significant portion of my portfolio into them, but a small pocket, a small portfolio of gaming tokens might be a good little play. Some of you might also be wondering and thinking, man, I want to hear a lot more of stuff like this from Crux and from the team starting in January. I don't know the official date, so we're going to post the date coming soon, but it will be in January. We are going to be launching a brand new YouTube channel hosted by Crux with content just like that called Alpha Bros. You do not want to miss out. It is coming your way in 2025. That was a sneak peek of the type of information you can look to get from Alpha Bros. Really quickly, let's do someone asked in chat. We're going to do a factoid of the day here in a second. Long show today. Someone did ask us to look at Pol, which, and you guys don't know what Pol is. Pol is Polygon, formerly known as Matic, right? So Polygon was Polygon Matic, and it changed its ticker from Matic, M-A-T-I-C, to POL. But the good news is, if you go to my screen here, if you go to Pol, you're not going to get a lot of price action, right? On the weekly chart, it's only been around since back here in September. You still can look at the Matic chart and see price history of how Matic has gone and what it's done. And I want to use this to kind of say, listen, some of you guys are very bullish on Pol. You think it's going to do amazing. There's a couple things here that I want to be just honest and open with about how I feel about this space. First of all, I think layer twos for Ethereum are struggling. Even the ones that are actually doing really well, they're struggling. This might not be a huge Ethereum layer 2 cycle. And then I look at Pol, Matic, and I'm watching it really struggle behind the other layer 2s that are doing well, like Optimism and Arbitrum. They're running like crazy, and Matic Pol is kind of just lagging behind. Has it had a good run up here the last little bit? Yeah, but everything has, and it ultimately went down to new lows to do all that. And I'm not talking about new lows for this bear market. I mean, this went down below the bear market of 2022. I mean, this is just not a good looking chart. We have not seen a higher high on Pol in a very long time. To get a new higher high, we'd have to go back to match the March high of 2024 up here at $1.30. We have to almost double in price. We need a 100% rally almost just to set a new higher high, whereas other altcoins are getting extremely close to setting cycle highs if they haven't done it already. So this is not necessarily the greatest looking chart. There's some fundamental aspects about Pol that I don't love. If you have a reason, if you know more about it and you want to do more with it, be my guest, right? I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but I'm telling you this is not a fundamental, or there's not a fundamental coin that I like, and it's not a chart that I like either. Is there room to the upside? Absolutely, it can go to the upside. In fact, right now we're under a take profit that's saying the next level to keep an eye on would be back up at 116. Right? So could you make some money in trading it? Yes, but is this a coin that I think you could look at and say, oh, we're setting a new all-time high for Matic easily, back up around $3? I don't know. I mean, let me look into some more details. I don't have all that sitting right in front of me to give you an immediate answer, but this is a coin I would seriously say is a candidate to not hit a brand new all-time high in the year 2025. Let me know in the comments, though, what you think. let's wrap it up here, guys. Let's get our factoid of the day, and then we'll finish our Friday show and be back. Are we doing a Saturday show tomorrow? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I'm down to do it. I'll do it.
All right. We'll do.
We also got a giveaway too.
Oh, we have a lot to do. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're probably doing a Saturday show, so we'll see you tomorrow too. But let's do our factoid of the day. Let's do our giveaway, and then we'll call it a day. Great show today, guys. Even if there's not many likes, only 357 likes. You guys should smash more likes than that.
I'm a little nervous.
What do you got for us, Dave Smay?
Here's the deal, everybody. You need to go ahead and smash like as I reveal this question of the day, because for a lot of you OGs, you're going to love the topic. Look at this. It is about the turtles. Of course, I had to do a turtle-themed question of the factoid of the day. So, Tim, I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, Tim, because I know sometimes reading can be difficult. Not that I'm saying that your reading is hard for you, but it says, what is unique about the way the Aldabra giant tortoise, pictured here on the left, uses its shell? A, it uses its shell to communicate by banging it against trees. B, the shell helps them to float in water like a boat. And just to help you with this, they are an island-dwelling tortoise species. Okay. All right. C, they can use the shell to store water for long periods of time. And D, the shell's shape allows them to flip themselves back over if they end up upside down. Tim, what do you got?
D sounds good. Now, here's the benefit of having three of us here at Crux. We can divide and conquer here. We do have to get today's factoid of the day right if we want to do a giveaway. Right? I've gotten two of four right, so today's the deciding factor. I definitely think one of us should answer D, right? That does make a good case. Tortoises can get flipped. I've seen them get flipped. I don't know about big ones, but I've seen the littler ones get flipped. They got to get back over somehow. Sure. So D is definitely a candidate. I don't think that they float. I'm pretty sure I've seen a tortoise in water touching the bottom, right? I don't know if they float. So I kind of want to rule out.
Are you confident about that? You're confident about that, Tim?
Hey, Smay.
So wouldn't the shell
You're the questionnaire. You can leave me and Crux alone for a second so we can think about our answers.
Sure.
So they float, Crux, as I was saying. B probably could be in there as well. They probably can float. I just came up with that off the top of my head. They can use a shell to store water for long periods of time. That seems like more of a camel type of thing. I don't know if we're in a rock with C. And it uses shell to communicate with banging against trees. I don't know. I know they hit things. You see those videos of them like hitting the black shoe, but they leave the white shoe alone. They're a little racist. Right. What do you want to go with? I feel like I'm going to go with D because I think that's a good answer. But what else do you want to go with?
Yeah, so he said island, so storing water I think is irrelevant. Flipping over, I do think it's a big one, so I do like D, but you're choosing D. I'm thinking floating. I don't know exactly why. I don't know, physically how it's going to do it, but I'm thinking floating.
All right, well, let's go with B and D.
B and D, and I'm ready to reveal. Crux, I'm sorry, no, they don't float. The answer is D. Okay. It allows them to flip themselves back over. Look at that. Tim knows things, guys, and he knows things about tortoises in particular. So, Tim, that was great job. Great job.
Listen, homeschoolers, right? Crux, I know you don't know about this lifestyle. Me and Smay, when you're a homeschooler, you learn obscure details about obscure things. You made me second guess myself, Smay. I was pretty certain I'd seen one walk into water and not be floating. So
you've seen a lot of tortoises walk into water?
Yeah.
A lot of Aldabra giant tortoises?
Yes, I have. Okay, so I have an 18-month-old son. We live in Atlanta. One of the things we do is we go to the zoo all the time. Right?
So you were familiar with this animal?
I probably see this animal once a month at the zoo.
Wow, because usually people are familiar with the Galapagos giant tortoise, which is very similar, and they are the number 1 biggest tortoise. This is the number 2 biggest tortoise.
Okay,
from a different island off the coast of Africa.
I don't know if I've ever checked on what type.
I should have been homeschooled.
I just knew about tortoises.
Now, I'll give you a bonus. What's number 3 biggest tortoise? Okay. This is obvious. Everyone should know this. Tim?
I know it so well that
it
I want
is
you to answer.
The sulcata tortoise. They live in the savannas of Africa. Come on, you had that. That was a layup.
Well, thank you for the turtle
I hate your
trivia.
factoid of the days.
The turtle trivia from the Turtle King. All the OGs will appreciate that. On our way out, we do have giveaways to do. We got it right? So we have to choose someone from chat. Let's do that one. Let's do a chat one. Only 550 people stayed around for this, which means the odds are ever in your favor to win this one. Let's do a random drawing here. I'm going to pick from somebody who's commented recently, right? But I'm going to close my eyes, do a little bit of scrolling. The winner of the $50 for the weekly factoids being correct is Jenny Do It. Jenny
Yay.
Do It. The comment was, she said, I have 3 Vietnamese pond turtles. They flip themselves. What does it say? Hold on. They flip themselves with their paws, though. Okay, so as fitting.
A
turtle
Vietnamese
person
pond
gets to win on the
turtle.
turtle day.
A Vietnamese pond turtle is a turtle, not a tortoise, and so that is irrelevant. But
Hey,
that's
listen,
cool. We love
To be
that.
fair, you're not the tortoise king, you're the turtle king. And for the sake
You're
of this
right.
show, the turtles and the tortoises are the same. Jenny Do It, congratulations. What you're going to do, go to Discord, and make sure to click on the actual T-Shroom through our Discord. Message him so that you can collect the $50. Just so you guys know, when you join our Discord, you will probably get several messages from myself, from T-Shroom, from Crux. I think there's even some fake smays out there already. There's a lot of scammers out there.
No.
If you get a message from us, listen, we love you. And I wish we could message all of our people in our Discord. We don't, right? Because that's what the scammers do. We always have you guys reach out to us. So you're going to reach out to T-Shroom, let him know. I'm going to write your name down just so in case he's like, hey, this Jenny Do It person just reached out to me. What's going on with that? You are the winner of the $50 for the weekly factoids. Congratulations. It's now time. We have a spinny wheel for this one. It's now time for our members giveaway. And this one, all the members, not just the ultimate members, are included in this one. All of our members are entered. I think this one's $100. Is it not, Crux? I think this was a monthly $100 giveaway for all of our members over in Discord.
Yep, $100 giveaway.
Our paying members. Let's go ahead and bring up that wheel
You have the,
and see who wins it today. I think Crux has it.
Crux, you have the wheel?
Oh.
Do you not?
Let me go ahead. I sent it in the IB chat, so can you quickly grab it from the IB?
I can grab it.
Yeah,
Hang on, I'll grab it.
Wow.
I have it.
We are a well-oiled machine here, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
I have it. Go to my screen. Look at those names. That's a lot of names up there. These are all of our paying members over in Discord. A great community. Whether you're a trader or investor, go check it out. You will not regret it. Got some great reviews over there. Who's going to win the $100?
1 out of 129.
David Pilot. Oh, my goodness.
David
I got to write that one down. David Pilot 27. I'm just going to stop there. David Pilot 27. Congratulations. I don't know if you're in chat or not. We will reach out to you over in Discord. But you are this week's $100 winner for the memberships. Oh, my goodness. What a show. What a show. This has been the longest one. It ran to 420. No pun intended there. It just so happened that we went that far. Thank you so much for being here with us this week. Guys, give us some comments down below. Give us feedback, what you love, what you dislike, ways we can continue to get the show and make the show better for you. Kyle Field says, I love how Tim always puts an in front of when he says $100 bills. 100, 100, 100. I don't know. Am I wrong on that? Does anybody else say 100? Either way, time for the closing thought of the day. You know, something I want to kind of reiterate. I've said this on the show before, but I want to encourage all of you. One of the things we strive to do here on the Investing Bros channels is always, speak very positively about each other, to each other. We would give each other a hard time. Yes, we do. But we really want to build an uplifting community, not a you're wrong, not an I told you so, not a you're nothing to me. We want to not only be successful ourselves, me, T-Shroom, Crux, May. We want to make our lives better. We want to increase our wealth, take care of our families, but we also want to encourage and increase the wealth of the people around us as well. And that's what this community is all about. And what that's really rooted in is a biblical practice, a biblical thought that you always, when you have the chance to speak life over things. You don't speak death. The Bible is very clear. When God made us, he made one of the most powerful things about us, our tongue. The Bible says the tongue's like the rudder of a ship. Rudders are very small, but they dictate wherever that ship goes. And the Bible says in the tongue, you have the power of life and death. The things you speak about, you have the ability to speak life and to increase and be beneficial. You also have the ability to tear down, to kill, and to destroy. Choose life. And this is something, if you're saying, no, Tim, I'm not a religious person, I don't believe in the Bible, I don't believe in God, there's something even scientific. Doctors have talked about the placebo effect, the concept of positivity. The placebo effect is just your brain thinking that everything is good. Well, a lot of times, like I said, that tongue is the rudder of the ship. If you simply speak life, speak positivity, speak blessings over yourself and other people around you, things seem to catch up. There's even fighters. There's fighters that have decided to hire somebody to follow them saying, you're the greatest, you're the best, no one can beat you. You're the greatest, you're the best, no one can beat you. And these are some of the top fighters in the world. And one of the things that scientists have talked about is as they hear that over and over every single day, as you hear the blessings, as you hear the positivity, as you hear the life, you respond in like manner. But for those people who hear nothing but death and destruction, for those people who talk about themselves, who talk about their trading, who talk about their health, who talk about themselves in negative ways and others, you're doing nothing but spewing death, curses, and destruction to people. Choose life with how you choose to speak. That goes for your investing journey as well. Are you struggling? Speak life. Speak blessing over yourself and your finances. And I don't know why, I don't know how, but positive things seem to happen when we choose to speak life. Go out there and be a living soul. We love you guys. See you tomorrow morning. Not the same time, but is the same place for our 11 a.m. Investing Bros Saturday show. Love you guys. See you next time. Adios.